Sue. A little bit late. I got lost track of time. I was, making cards, and I just lost track of time. I'm doing a class on Saturday for 20 women, and so I have a lot of cutting to do, and I was trying to get some of that done before I went live today. Anyway, thank you for joining me. This is the first time I've been actually live at my new time on Tuesdays at 5:30, so I really appreciate you dropping in and having some time with me this evening. I have a lot of exciting things to share with you that's going on in Stampin' Up! World, and maybe you'll be excited to hear some of these things too. So I'm just gonna pop down to the camera on the desk. Oh, things have not been working quite as planned. No, I do not want to remove the full screen. There we go. Okay, great. Last Chance products were updated today, and they put new stuff in the Last Chance list. And these are things that are going to retire, or they're no longer going to carry. And you'll find the Last Chance products under your Specials tab in your online account. Okay, so there have been a lot of things added. Some of the things are up to 60% off, so you can get a deal. We also started today something called Product of the Month, and they're trying out something new. With a $75 order, that's before tax, before shipping, before rewards, all that jazz. A $75 order, you can buy the Product of the Month for only $5, and you can add it on. And I think it prompts you and asks you if you would like to add it onto your order. You just need to log into your account, add products to your account up to the $75. You can go over that threshold, but you can't get more than one product, or a $5 product a month, just one a month per account. Once you've reached that amount, you can add the product to your cart and enjoy it. And so you're probably thinking, well, what is the product this month for December? Ta-da, here it is. It is some Designer Series paper. It is 12 by 12. I think it's called something blues. I forgot to write it down. But it's really beautiful. I love this. I love blues. You can do a lot with it. And this is the paper. And it will show on your online account too. They'll have pictures of it that are probably easier to see than this one. But that is only $5 for paper. And 12 by 12 DSP, a package of it is usually a minimum of $12.50. So it's a good deal if you would like to try that. Paper pumpkin. That is coming in December. You have to subscribe by December 10th, and you will get the December paper pumpkin. It's called the Customizable Sentiment Stamps, and it looks something like this. I haven't seen it myself because I haven't gotten mine yet. I usually get mine around the 15th of the month. It kind of depends on where you live in the United States, because they send them out of Utah. Okay. And we have a deal on Paper Pumpkin right now. There's Cyber Monday saving on prepaid subscriptions. And this deal is offered only from starting yesterday, December 1st to December 9th, if you would like to do prepaid subscriptions. So this Cyber Monday Paper Pumpkin sale that's going on right now until the 9th, you can sign up for a 3-month paid prescription for $61. That you're saving $20 off the usual price for 3 months. 6 months for $122, you're saving $40. And a 12-month subscription for $244, you're saving $80. Now, if you've never done paper pumpkin before, I would recommend trying the 3 months and see if you like it. Okay? If you are doing paper pumpkin, you do need to go into your account, cancel your current paper pumpkin. Otherwise, you're going to get 2. Okay? And you'll be paying for 2. Cancel your current subscription and jump on one of these subscriptions. When your 3 months is up, they'll prompt you, would you like to sign up for another 3 months? Would you like to sign up for 6 months, 12 months, or go back to 1 month at a time? You know, but by that time, this deal will no longer be available. It's just available until the 9th of December. So if you decide you'd like to try the prepaid for at least 3 months, and you're already on paper pumpkin, be sure to cancel that one and subscribe to this one. So you're only getting 1 paper pumpkin. Unless, of course, you're one of those people that want more than 1 paper pumpkin. Maybe you do. Okay. So that was just more paper pumpkin things. Don't forget about online exclusives, because they're always changing and adding things. And this is on your menu tab under online exclusives. Okay, so don't forget to look at those. And my specials this month are a little bit different. Oh, I think I forgot to grab. Here they are. I forgot to grab some of these of what you're going to get. Okay. So, $20 order, you start earning Stampin' Rewards as usual. A $40 order gets you 2 sets of die-cut labels and your 10% Stampin' Rewards. And what I mean by die-cut labels is I have this die. See, I can't stamp for you. I did stamping on these. I have the stamp and the die-cut label. I should use a colored sheet of paper so you can see them. But you're going to get 19 labels cut. Well, 19 is 1 set. Okay, so you're going to get 38 labels cut that you can stamp on. And some of them are larger than others. Some of them are really small. But you're going to get 2 sets of these in white. And you can change the color really easily by just brushing color on, which I'm going to show you with the next set. Okay, so you can get all these labels. Okay, you're going to get 2 sets of them in a little clear envelope. All right, that's the offer for $40. For $50, you get the same, the 2 sets of die-cut labels and a Traditions of Christmas PDF featuring 2 designs and your 10% Stampin' Rewards. So the labels, the PDF, and your rewards. For the $75 order, you still get the 2 sets of labels, the PDF, and you get 2 sets of die-cut greetings. And these are actual words. And I could have sworn I did some in gold for you. You're gonna get white ones like this. Oh, that's not a whole one. They say all sorts of different things. They say hello with sympathy just because, and celebrate. I'm not very well prepared with this, am I? Kind of forgot about it. Okay, I'm going to die cut these for you, and the impressions of the words show up in the die cuts. Okay, and they'll come 1 set of white. And what I did is I just took my brush that I use with my ink pad, and I didn't put any more ink on it. I just, whatever ink was on there, because I have different brushes for different colors. And this was Calypso Coral, and this was white. And I just went over it, and it really makes it pop. See, I can't stamp for you. My hands were clean before I started making cards this afternoon. But you can color them any color you want on the white ones, and then the gold ones, they're gold, and the words stand out. And I should have I thought I'd cut that. Could have sworn I cut that. But they're really pretty in gold. So anyway, I have some gold paper, and I will cut you a white set and a gold set. Okay. And I think you'll really like these. So this is kind of in place of the card kits this month. I thought maybe you had had enough of my Christmas card kits and such, so I thought I'd try something different. All right. So that's what you'll get. You'll get the labels. You get 2 sets of these PDF, and then you'll get 2 sets, and these have a lot of words in them. Let me see if I can grab them. This is the set I'm using that I die cut with. So it has thank you, oh happy day, thinking of you, hello, love you, you make me happy, with sympathy, celebrate, get well, and just because. Those are the words. So I put this in my machine, and I put the gold paper or the white paper in. I die cut, and I print and emboss at the same time, and I just run it through. Okay, so you'll get a white set and a gold set of these. Alrighty, maybe that makes more sense. Like I said, I kind of forgot about that because I did something different. You see, if I do something different, I get discombobulated. So those are my offers for this month for your orders, and I appreciate your orders so much. Remember, the qualifying orders are before tax, shipping, and coupons are redeemed Stampin' Rewards. Okay, so okay, I talked to you about online exclusives. Yes, I did. And we're going to be using the Elegant Pines tonight. Alrighty. I have linked all my products and the things that I'm using tonight in my description, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube, doesn't matter. They're in both of those. So, using the Delicate Pines, I just used the largest die, this one, and you can either stamp this. I didn't stamp this. This is out of the Designer Series paper, and there's like 2 or 3 sheets of these, and some smaller ones. Anyway, I used the big one, and this is for some gift tags that I'm going to use for my granddaughters. I'm stamping some tissue to go in their bags, and I'm stamping the bags to all be the same with the pines for them. So I'm making these gift tags out of the Delicate Pines suite of products. So I cut one of these. I cut 2 white ones, but one is out of just basic white and one is out of thick white, okay? Because this one needs a little more sturdiness behind it to be a good gift tag. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue this onto the basic white, and I'm going to leave the basic white thick for the other layer. And these will fit exactly together because I cut them with the same die. Okay. And then I brought in my paper trimmer and I scored this towards the top. We'll see how far I'm going to go. Maybe an inch. I don't know. Yeah, about an inch. Maybe an inch and a quarter. my tip is about 1.25 inches up here. And I'm going to park my dark. I'm going to bring in my scoring blade. And I'm really going to score this because this is a layer of Designer Series paper and glued to a layer of basic white cardstock. And I want that because I want this to bend on that crease. So I'm going to bend it backwards and forwards a couple times. This glue is still a little wet, but it works better if the glue's not wet. It's better if you let it dry. So then I'm going to just look at this score line and I'm going to glue above the score line, and I'm going to glue this onto the basic white thick. I'm going to glue it on there. Okay. So now this will open easily to be my greeting. And in traditional labels, you have to and from that you can pull out. And I'm just going to put these on here. That one at the top, of course. And you can stamp it in whatever color you want. You can do it in black. You can match the Designer Series paper, whatever you would like. Trying to get this straight. I'm not sure if that's straight, but it's something. And I'm going to just grab some shaded spruce, because shaded spruce is one of the many colors in here. And I'm going to grab just some paper. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to put my to and from in here. To and from. Now, I would also punch a hole in the top with my very old paper punch. And I was even at the craft store today and I was thinking, I need to buy a new paper punch, but I was in a hurry. So I just grabbed the stuff I needed and I left. But anyway, so don't look at this paper punch, but it does punch a nice small hole, which is what I like. And I'm going to put it up here, not too close to the top because I don't want it to tear, because I'm going to tie it onto a bag. Okay, and I had some where's my skinny ribbon? I just want to take a length of skinny ribbon and put it through here and tie it. Sometimes it works to poke it through. Like that. And so I have a little gift tag that's going to match. Like I said, I'm going to stamp my white tissue with the stamps that go with the delicate pines, and I'm going to stamp their bag. I just have the the regular brown gift bag, you know, it's kind of like crumb cake color. I just buy those inexpensive bags at Walmart, and I stamp all over them, decorate them up. So anyway, so there, you can tie that on your bag. It's really cute. It'll match the tissue, it'll match the bag, and it's just adorable. Isn't it cute? Remember to score it so it bends easily and then it shuts nicely too. Okay. So that's the easy part for the evening. And now we're going to talk about our gift boxes. I don't know about you, but I love Bath and Body Works products. And they've been having, of course, their sales, their Cyber Monday sales, and I went over there. Actually, they were doing it on Sunday, and I went Sunday afternoon, and like everybody in the world was at the mall. And I haven't been to the mall, literally have not been to the mall in probably 10 years, and so it was a little traumatic, you know, going in there with so many people. But I wanted to get Bath and Body products, and because I have these boxes. And so these lotions, I love these lotions, and I love to give them as gifts because they're a nice gift. Most people like them, you know. They're usually $18 for one of these, and they were on sale for $4.95. And I had a free one on my account from previous purchases. So I really scored on I bought all these pretty Christmas ones. I just thought they were so cute. I have this one too. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm giving these out to some of my my women's groups. I'm in a small group, and I'm getting stuff ready for them for Friday. And I'm making boxes for them. So these are the boxes, and they're just so cute. You don't have to untie anything. You simply lift the lid right off, and the lid goes back in. And so they can put things in and out of this. Now, another thing that fits, I think it's this one. Another thing that fits from Bath & Body is their foaming hand soap. Fits in the same size box. Now it won't be quite as tall because see without anything in there, this fits really short. And it goes all the way down like that. Okay. But if you put something in there like foaming bath soap or lotion, then it pushes that up a little bit and gives it a little more height, like that. And sometimes I would cut, like on this one I was using Perfectly Pears, and I cut a circle out of Stylish Shapes, and then I cut some pears out and put it on with the pear paper. Did that. On this one and this one, I used the it'd be nice if I could remember, branching out dies, and these are the branching out dies too. Also, oh, I put this backwards. The bow goes on the front. There we go. The bow goes on the front. And so I used that. On this one, Seasons of Elegance, which they just ran out of. I just was looking on the website. I love this paper. It comes in 4 or 5 colors. Pretty peacock red, green, old olive, and very vanilla. Maybe it's 4 colors. Okay. And then I cut this leaf from our new Brushed with Beauty set. This is a really nice full leaf, and I cut it out of this same paper, And I just thought that looked so pretty just on Very Vanilla, because I used Very Vanilla up here. So I used gold, and then I put Very Vanilla, a smaller die, just one size smaller, and I think in my directions I have that. And then I just cut the leaf out of that and put it on there. Now I could have put it up on dimensionals, but I didn't. I just put that one flat. On this one, I used the, oh my goodness, the one with the daisies and flowers. It's in the main catalog. And again, I just cut a circle with stylish shapes, and then in this set is a die to cut these little flowers, and then I cut the big flower, and I did put that on dimensionals on that one because I just thought that one was a little bit plain at the top. So I thought that, but it turned out well. So I'm going to explain to you, this is really not that hard to make, these boxes. And I do have directions at the end. You can write stuff down as I'm going, or start and stop the video if you're watching the replay. But I do have directions, cutting directions at the end. Okay. Now, there is this. I should put this on my Facebook page. I got this from Kelly Atchison, and she's just very generous with sharing things that she's invented. And this is like a 1-inch ruler, okay, really big, so you can see it, because we are going to be measuring in 1/8 and 1/16 today. And having a copy of this, I'll try to link that, because I made a PDF out of it, and I'll try to link that in my Facebook account, my business one, Snake River Stamping, and so you can get it. But it just very clearly shows you like 0, 1/2, and 1. Those are the mains, right? And then the 8ths are in between, and then the 16ths are in between that. So they have 1, 4, 3/8, 5/8, 3, 4, 7/8, you know, all of them. We're going to be doing 13/16 today in one of our measures, one of our scores. So having something like this to look at kind of helps you to count and remember where those measurements are. Okay, so it's very helpful to have that. All right, so here's the pattern. We're not going to be doing it on this color. I just pull colors I don't use as much of, or I have a lot of, and I have some of this this color, what is it? This mustardy color. Can't remember now. Anyway, the base is 9 3/4 by 8 1/4. You just want to cut first your base, or no, excuse me, this is the lid. Okay, so you're going to just start. This is my lid. 9 3/4 by 8 1/4. And then we're going to be scoring and cutting to make this box. So along this long edge, you're going to turn it, and we're going to score at 2, 4 5/8, 6 5/8, 9 1/4. And then you're going to turn on the short side, and you're going to score at 2 inches. And this is going to make the lid out of the cardstock. Okay, and I put little X's here and a slash because you're going to cut that. We're going to cut on the short sides, the bigger ones, the bigger rectangles. We're going to not notch those, but we're going to miter the corners on the shorter. These are kind of squares, really. They're not rectangles on these two. And these are rectangles, these are squares. Okay, so that's for the lid. And then for the base, which is going to be cut out of Designer Series paper, And I use this one with the big snowflake again because I just love this big snowflake. So this is 10 inches across by 8 1/4. So it's 1/4 of an inch longer than the lid, okay? Because the lid fits inside the base. I know it's usually the other way around, but in this one, the lid fits inside the base. And so we're going to be cutting this one, and we're going to score at 2 1/16, 4 3/4, 6 13/16, and 9 1/2. And that's going to be on the long side where we're going to score. Then down here, we're going to score at 2 1/16. Okay? And again, all of these, in fact, I think I put these measurements in my description, if I'm not mistaken. I think I did. You're going to, on the 8 1/4 inch side, you're going to do 2 1/16. And I'm going to demonstrate this, and we're going to cut together, and we're going to glue together, and we're going to make a box. Okay? So those are the measurements for the lid and the base. All right? So we'll start with the base today. And I'm going to bring my scoring board in. And remember, this is 10 by 8 1/4. Okay? So I've already scored this. I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay. All right. So my first score is at 2 1/16. So I go to that very first little mark, 2 1/16. And I'm on the long side, and I run my scoring blade up here gently because this is designer series paper, not as thick, not as tough as cardstock. And so I run that up. My next score is 4 3/4. That's a pretty standard one. 4 3/4 is easy to find. And you run up and down that one gently a couple of times. Now the next one is 6 13/16. So that was the one I was warning you about. So 6 is right here. And so I know that 16/16 is right at 7. Okay, so I just go backwards myself. And I go 15, 14, 13. And it's one mark below or above the 3/4. So I go to the little mark, one mark above the 3/4, beyond the 3/4, and I score again. And my last score is 9 1/2. Another easy one, 9 1/2. And that's going to give me a tab. And then I turn, see, I turned it this way, and I score at 2 1/16. So again, I go to 2 and I go to the first little mark right after the 2, 2 1/16. And I score that. Okay, so we're going to fold on all these score lines so we can see them, so I can see them, because I got to start cutting. And I know it's like super hard for you to see this on the camera, but maybe it'll be better when I fold on these score lines. So you can see this is our tab that we're going to use. Okay, and we also have this 2 1/16 score that's going to make the bottom of our box. Okay, now, so I have all of these. So I hope I can see them good enough. Okay, so if you'll remember, on the base, I want to cut this out of this. This is my tab where I'm going to put some glue, okay? But I'm going to cut a little miter out of here. I'm going to cut all of this away where these X's are. So I'm going to carefully look up here. And then I'm going to come in here and miter that corner. Okay. So I just cut that away. like that. Now, I'm going to cut up on all of these score lines at the bottom, up to the 2 1/16 score. And I know you cannot see them. I can barely see them myself on this printed paper. Okay, so I cut all of those flippy flappies. So these two larger ones, I'm not going to cut at all, but the two smaller ones outside and in the middle, those two are going to get mitered like this, okay? Those two are, I'm going to miter those corners so that when I fold them in, is there an exact measure for mitering? No, it's like a little pie shape. It's not an exact measure, but it's not real big, but big enough that it will help the paper fold inside and not catch on itself. Okay, that is my box lid, and now I'm ready to glue. And I'm going to glue on the outside of this box, on this tab over here. I am going to just put some glue down this edge and kind of wiggling it down so I'm getting it back and forth. And then I am going to fold this, and it's about in half, and I'm going to fold the other side right on top of it and press. Okay. And oh my gosh, look, those lined up. Ah, totally by accident. And so that's basically my box right there. When I folded it and just pressed on there, I put the glue on the outside of the box, on the tab, on the outside. Okay. Now, on the bottom of the box, I want these mitered tabs to go in, and I want the square tabs to go out. Okay. So I'm going to put a little glue on this one to press it in, and I'm going to put a little glue on this one and press it in. I'm trying to keep this square, and I'm going to put a little glue on this one and press it in. Now, what works super good to get this to dry square and everything, turn it right side up, okay? And if you've got the lotion or anything that's about this size and kind of heavy, you can just stick it in the box and let it sit for a while, okay? Just stick it in there, just like that, and set it to the side and let that dry while we work on the other part of our box. So this is the box lid, and I'm doing that in Pretty Peacock because there's Pretty Peacock in here, and that would, I mean, I could have picked Old Olive, I could have picked Mossy Meadow, I could have picked white, you know, I just thought, I like Pretty Peacock, so I thought, I'm going to pick that. So I'm going to look at my measurements. On the long side, I'm scoring at 2, 4 5/8, 6 5/8, and 9 1/4 to make that tab again, because I'm going to do the same thing, except it's going to go this way, and we're going to make the top different. It's not going to be flat. It's going to have the pointy top where we put the ribbon. So we're going to do that a little bit differently, okay? But the same idea. So we put this in your, if you're using a scoreboard, if you're using a paper trimmer, whatever you're using, Park Your Dark if you're using a paper trimmer, and your first score is at 2 inches exactly. So you put it in there, and now you can press a little harder because you're on cardstock, and you can do this a couple times so you get a good score on that. The next one is 4 and 5/8. Well, 5/8, 4/4 is 1/2. So 5/8 is just 1/8 more, 2 little marks more. So you score that. The next one is at 6 and 5/8. So the same thing. You go to the half, that's 4/8, and then go 1/8 more, that's 5/8, and score again. And then the last score is 9 and 1/4 to make our little tab at the very end. And be sure and press, do it a few times, press fairly hard, fairly firmly when you do that, because now you're on cardstock. Okay, no, you can't see this again, but I'm gonna fold on my score marks so I can do my cutting and I can see things. And remember, I already put my X's on my little slash where I want to miter that one. And then I'm going to fold this one up because I want to do the same thing with mitering this left one and this third one, the middle one kind of. Okay, so I've got those all folded, and now I'm going to cut the bottoms. This is a little bit easier to see for me, maybe not for you, but you will be able to see it when you make one. And I'm going to miter that corner, and then I'm cutting straight up on the score lines to the 2-inch score, straight up on the score lines to the 2-inch score, straight up on the score lines to the 2-inch score. Then I'm going to miter again, take my little pie-shaped wedges out of these 2 smaller ones, that one on the left, and then skip the next one, and then do the third one. It's the smaller one again, and miter that one. So now we have exactly what we had with this one. You know, I would suggest using either cardstock that you don't use very often, you have too much of, or even copy paper the first time till you get your pattern right. It took me a few times to, even though I had the right measurements, it took me a few times to do that. So again, on my right side, this is the outside of the box. I am going to put the glue on this tab, this 1/4 inch tab, or it's probably 1/2 inch, excuse me. I'm going to put my glue on there, turn it over, fold it down so that I can fold this side into it. And I'm going to press firmly. Now this is sometimes a little bit harder to get it to stick, so sometimes I'll lay my biggest block on it for a few minutes just to let it really adhere really good before I start doing the very top of the box. Just gonna let that get good and hopefully that's adhered. So then I gently squeeze that open. So I've got my box. But now my box is going to go this way because it's going to fit. It's a little bit smaller and it's going to fit inside this other box. Okay? You have to manipulate it just a wee bit, but it fits in there. Okay? So, in fact, it might be easier to do this with the box inside there. So, those 2 tabs, these 2 that are opposite that we did the mitering on, I want to glue those down flat. But these are going to be different because they're going to be kind of pointy, and we're going to put some ribbon through this top of this. So I don't want to glue those down. But I do want to get these 2 glued down. See, this bottom box is nice and dry. I had that lotion in there. So I'm just going to put that glue on that one. And I'm going to fold these in. No glue. No glue. I'm going to fold these in. I'm going to take this off for a minute. And I'm going to stick this in here for just a minute while I let that dry. Now remember, there's no glue on those two upper tabs at all because I'm going to make those pointy. So this is the, I'm going to put a focal point. And so all I did was I cut out two of these snowflakes from the Designer Series Paper Delicate Pines. And I also cut, to put behind it, I put a stylish shaped circle out of Pretty Peacock. And then I cut, just to give it a little depth, I put some vellum. Vellum? Yep, vellum. I put some vellum on there. And then I put my little 3 dots. This was from last year, remember, but I have these little 3 berry things. So I still have a lot of these. So I put those in there. You can put any kind of gem. You can pull in these gems and put in one of the red gems. I'd probably pick one of the big ones because they have big, medium, and small. And they definitely have these. They're back in stock. So that would be pretty. Or these gems are also in stock, faceted snowflakes. Those would look good, you know. Any of those would look great. Now you can, I glued all this down because I am going to pop this up with some dimensionals when I put it back together. But I could have put dimensionals. I was thinking, you know, glue the vellum down, but then put dimensionals on the back of the snowflake to make it a little bit more 3D. And I think I probably would have liked that better. But I'll do that next time. Not glue these at all. I just put glue on that very bottom one and then stuck my lotion in there for a weight to smush it down and hold it while the glue was drying. Now I'm going to take the top and I'm going to fold it to the edge because I do want a crease on here to make on each side. I'm going to fold it back to the edge. And that's about the right amount of space so that I can bring these together. It's kind of like those old-fashioned, you know, when you were in school, milk carton things, you know, is what it reminds me of. So these are just gonna hold together. I'm not, you can glue them if you want to, but I'm gonna put some ribbon in there. I'm stuck on my dots. I'm going to bring back in my fabulous old-fashioned paper punch, and I'm going to punch, look in here, I'm going to punch 2 holes, kind of like that, and I punched through both of them at the same time so that they would match up. And then I pulled in, I decided I didn't want Pretty Peacock ribbon. I was going to dye some Pretty Peacock ribbon, but then I thought that's too much Pretty Peacock. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to use some of this again from last year. This is beautiful, silver and white. And you can actually use your Stampin' Blends if you want to dye this any color you want. But I thought the silver would look good because there's a white on there. And I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. Did you know you had the spatula on the other end of the pick part? You just pull it out. I use the spatula to pull things up, and you just kind of screw it on there. So I'm going to fold this ribbon, and I'm going to kind of push it through there. I'm probably going to have to trim some of this end off because it's going to make holes in it if it will push it through there. I might need my tweezers, my handy dandy tweezers, because I want to push this through and I want to tie a nice little bow on here. And then I'm going to put the box together, and I'm going to put my focal point on, like I did with the other ones. This ribbon went through a lot easier when I wasn't on camera. Maybe if I do this and pull it through. Because this hole, the reason I like this hole, there we go, that's what works. Put my tweezers through the hole and pull the ribbon through. That works way better. Okay, you're gonna need about, I think, 15 inches. I'm not really measuring here, but I did on one of them, and I measured 15 inches of ribbon to do this. My ribbon scissors. So I got those through my holes. Cut that off, and you can see you don't really need to glue it because the ribbon holds it just fine, and it's really pretty. This ribbon is so gorgeous. I wish they would have never stopped making this ribbon because it is so pretty. And I want my bows a little smaller than that. And then I'll trim my ends, but I want them tighter. So you gotta finagle a little bit here. Okay. There we go. Okay. So then I usually cut at an angle to cut off my ends where I was pushing and pulling that through and got it all ruined. Anyway, so there is my box. And this is very plain. But now, where is my, let's use some beautiful green Christmas lotion to stick in here. And like I said, you have to just kind of push and pull, but it goes on just perfectly. Isn't that beautiful? I just think it's so pretty. My friend has a birthday next week, and I'm going to give her one of these. So anyway, when you put your, whatever your focal point is, whatever you decide your focal point is, be sure and only attach it to the base. Don't attach it to the top, the lid, because then you can't open it. Okay, so I want to place this on here, and I want half of it to be on the lid to show that, but I'm only going to attach my dimensionals. If I could find my dimensionals, there we go. And I'm only going to attach those on the bottom half of this focal point. Like that, only on the bottom half. And luckily, a snowflake is not like some like the pears. You know, I had to get that right side up and everything. This I can twist around and make it go any which way. But I just need to keep in mind where these are, and I can still have part of my snowflake sticking out the top, on the top part, and so it makes that plain Jane pretty peacock look more elegant, and the vellum and the circle that just helps to hold it all together, you know. And so this just slips on, slips off, slips on, slips off, because I just attached it to the base of our box. I hope you like these. They're really not hard once you get the measurements down. And like I said, make it out of something that you don't really care about, and whether it's copy paper or whatever, and get the measurements down and make yourself a template. like I did. I look at this every time I make my box because I know my box has got to look like this to begin with, or it's not going to turn out. So I always look at my template before I start cutting and measuring with my designer series paper and my cardstock that I want to use. So I do have the measurements. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I linked those in my description, but here they are, and you can take a screenshot. You can look at the description. I don't know if you can print those out or not. I'm not sure how that works. Maybe you can copy and paste it and put it in a document. But I did my pretty peacock with my box lid. It was 9 3/4 by 8 1/4. You scored on the long side at 2 inches, 4 5/8 inches, 6 5/8 inches, and 9 1/4. And of course, that last one is the very skinny 1/2 inch tab that you do the glue on. And you always glue on the front. Score on the short side at 2 inches. Cut the largest circle from Stylish Shapes. That's what I did. This is the largest circle that is my holding all my stuff together. Okay, I just wanted that as a base to hold my snowflake, and it matches with everything. I could have done white, but I thought I wanted to do pretty peacock, so it would kind of blend in with this part. So Stylish Shapes, cut the lid as shown on the video, which is this. Basic white, cut as many large snowflakes as you want for the gift tags, just out of basic white. So decide how many gift tags you're going to make. So your basic white, it goes on the back of your designer series paper, which is down here. It says cut the medium or the large snowflake oh, that's the focal point. Cut the large snowflake that you want for gift tags. Okay, so that was different. That's what this is talking about, gift tags. And the basic white thick, cut as many large snowflakes as you want for gift tags. So you need basic white thick, and you need the designer series paper if you're going to do gift tags. So like I could even hang a gift tag on this. It would look really pretty, you know. So that's your pretty peacock, designer series paper, and your basic white. So that's all cardstock. Designer series paper. I used Elegant Pine Snowflakes for my box bottom, which was 10 inches by 8 1/4. It's just a little bit bigger because the top goes inside the bottom. You scored on the long side at 2 1/16 of an inch, 4 3/4, 6 13/16 of an inch, and 9 1/2 inches. Score on the short side at 2 1/16 of an inch, and cut as shown in the video where I showed you how to cut all of these. Okay. Cut a medium size or a large snowflake for the focal point from your DSP, or you can stamp it. I also had some stamped ones I tried on there, but I just really liked the one from the designer series paper, so that's what I decided to use. And I did forget, because I kind of decided about the vellum for on my focal point. I cut one snowflake with the die out of vellum. Okay, I wrote that in pencil, so you can barely read it. Cut one snowflake out of vellum, if you like that look, you know, if you like that. And then cut as many large snowflakes as you want for gift tags. Embellishments, you can use ribbon of your choice, whatever matches what paper you're using. Like I showed you, all these gift boxes were all different papers. You know, you can make them Christmassy, you can make them birthday, you can make them anything you want. And if you want some gems, you know, add the gems that match the paper you're using that look nice with that. And like I said, I think this is, pretty sure this is in my description too, besides being here. So let me point my camera up, all the way up. I forgot, did you notice my sparkly antlers I wore today? This, I was at the craft store. This was like, you know, at the front where you first walk in for the people that have no willpower and will buy anything. So I had to get antlers. I'll have to share them with Piper. She'll come in here and she'll say, what are those? And she'll want them, so I'll give them away. But anyway, tonight I had antlers, so I hope you appreciated the antlers and all of the pretty things that we made today. I just know that you will love having these gift boxes, and I hope you got the great sale at Bath and Body, and you got some soap or you got some lotion or something that you can give to people. They're great, inexpensive, but a very nice gift to give to someone at Christmas. Because I know it gets really expensive. I feel like everybody is asking for money right now. So many things. Oh, one other thing I was going to add, and I forgot. I used out of traditional labels. I used traditional labels, and I did a good friend is a gift. A good friend, this is probably going to be backwards. Good friend is a gift. And I would probably stick that on there kind of at a diagonal or something with some glue or some little glue dots or something like that to give to someone, because like I said, I'm giving some of these to my small group, my women's group from church, and I'm giving some as birthday gifts for my friends that have birthdays in December. So these just make really great things. So don't forget a gift tag to put on there too. All right, I think that's it. I think I remembered everything. And don't forget, look for this on my Facebook page. I'm working on having a website. Anna's helping me with that. And who knows, we might even get that done in December. Get me a website, and then I can start putting a lot of things on there that you can just click on and copy. And it would be stuff like this that, you know, everybody needs to have something like this to remind them how these measurements go, because with our measurement system, it's a little wacky, because bigger numbers mean smaller measurements, and it's hard to remember sometimes. Anyway, thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate it so much. If you have any questions, my contact information is all over the place. Please feel free to email me, text me, call me, whatever you want, and I'll help you. I'll help you set up an online account if that's what you need to do. Whatever you need, all right? I ordered my catalogs on Sunday, so those should be arriving. Those should be arriving by January 10th, I think they said. They should be arriving, and that's the January through April, I believe. It's the little catalog with extra stuff, okay? And then the new annual catalog will come out in March, maybe March. I can't remember. There's so many catalogs and things. But then don't forget online exclusives. Don't forget last chance products and all that stuff that's on sale. And you know, you might get some really great deals that of something that you wanted. Because I think, for instance, that the branching out dies, I think that stuff is on sale. So be sure to check that out, right? Okay, we'll see you next week at 5:30. We'll be doing something really fun. I don't know what it is yet, but we'll be doing it. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.